Every day, it seems like the whole Billy Carson situation is just getting worse. Billy Carson's fraud history uncovered. Zero, let's go.
Most people have no clue that in 2024...
I think they're gonna reveal something about, you know, his criminal past or something. Something is coming out. I believe, because the thumbnail that I'm seeing is already looking super, super crazy. But
goes to a bank to open up a bank account in a name that's not his name. He will challenge this information by saying this: I am not a convicted criminal. He and his attorney, he had a pretty decent attorney, they actually put together a plea deal.
All right, y'all. So look, man, I am here with Pocket Watching with JT himself to explain the issues that he had with Billy Carson a year ago. This is actually somebody he's tried to sue for defamation, and it just didn't go well.
Fortunately for him, he's facing a very big lawsuit from me. So he'll be getting served very, very soon, because this information cannot be proven in the court of law as positively accurate. It's actually inaccurate, which gives me very good defamation, and also I get a chance to now sue his homeowner's insurance policy, and I'm going to start doing that to everybody that wants to play this kind of game.
And then you take my face and put it on some shit that's in a bad light. I'm out here making money, man. Your top priority when something happens in business that doesn't go right is to go and replace that income. That's your top priority.
How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for the invitation. I love your platform. Let's get straight to it.
What is up with this fraudulent history?
When I did the original video, the only thing that I talked about with his past was his issues with the businesses that he had. The fact that the Attorney General for the state of Florida accused him of fraud and forced him to pay back the customer. That's what I knew. It wasn't until I got a cease and desist letter from his attorney threatening to sue me that I had to dive even deeper. In the letter, they said that I claimed that Billy Carson was a grifter, and I didn't have any proof. And I was like, okay, well, let me dig a little deeper. And that's the issue with Billy. Billy is making the situation even bigger the way that he reacts to it. Because I didn't even know about his fraudulent personal criminal history until I got the cease and desist letters. I'm not a private investigator. I want to make this very clear. I'm a financial advisor. All I did was I looked up, where is he from? Okay, Florida. Broward County, Florida. I went to the Broward County, Florida website and I typed in his name, and this long list of stuff pops up. And when we talk about the fraud that shows up, it starts around 2013, where we see the original name that he had back in 2013 was William Tyrone Carson II. That's the name that he had when he was arrested for fraud. And when you read through the actual police report, you can see that he actually admits that he did commit fraud. He's going to a bank, I believe it was Chase Bank. He goes to a bank to open up a bank account in a name that's not his name. He's opening up a name totally different than his. I believe it was Charles Rubin. Now, if you've ever opened up a bank account, you know they ask for some documents. So he was able to provide them with a ID, like a driver's license, with his picture, but with the name Charles Rubin on it. That's fraud. And when the police officer asked him, was like, where did you get this driver's license from? He basically says, I bought it off the streets. I bought it off the streets of Miami. Well, why would a person buy a driver's license off the streets of Miami in a name that's not his name? As a financial advisor, I tell you, it's fraud. Only fraud can be committed with a driver's license with your picture in somebody else's name. Then, when the police officer searches his car, he finds other documents and other IDs of other people's names. And when he flat out asks him, like, why are you doing this? What's going on? The answer that William Tyrone Carson, aka Billy Carson, gives the police officer is that I have bad credit. This is what he says. I have bad credit, and I need to use someone else's identification or ID so that I can open up bank accounts to do business. Like, that's fraud. Regardless of what you say, what you think, he claims that he was a victim of identity theft. But the truth of the matter is, when you look through the police report, he's not the victim of identity theft. He's the perpetrator of identity theft, right? There is a man named that he took by the last name of Knight. And he is caught up in this because Billy Carson had his identification, his social security number, all this stuff that he was going to open up bank accounts and credit cards in. And he tells the police, I want him prosecuted. This guy stole my identity and I want him prosecuted. All of this is documented within the police reports. But this is what Billy Carson does. He will challenge this information by saying this: I am not a convicted criminal. And because I'm not a convicted criminal, everything that Pocket Watching with JT says is incorrect. This is how a person who wants to manipulate the situation will answer the question. He said, well, I'm not a convicted criminal. Well, no, you're not a convicted criminal. The reason why I know that Billy Carson is not a convicted criminal, at least not for the fraud case that I'm talking about, is because I have the paperwork that shows that he and his attorney, he had a pretty decent attorney, they actually put together a plea deal where he would serve 12 months, which is 1 year of probation. And if he's a good boy during those 12 months, he would not get a felony on his record. But that's not equal to he's innocent. That doesn't mean he didn't do it. What it means is he had a really good attorney that got a plea deal, and he served 12 months on probation. And at the end of that 12-month probation period, I guess he was good enough where they did not put a felony on his record. I actually reached out to Broward County. I said, listen, I got a man who's claiming that he's going to sue me because I used documents from Broward County talking about his past. And he claims it wasn't him. Can you guys give me a original copy or a scanned copy of the booking photo and paperwork? They said, no problem. Just fill out this form. We'll give it to you. It is clearly Billy Carson, the guy who talks about space aliens and ancient texts. This is the guy who was arrested for fraud, who admitted to the arresting officer that he was committing fraud, and who served a 12-month probation.
And one thing that you put the information out for, which was new to me, is in the paperwork, he asked to still go on his Egypt trip during his probationary sentence.
Listen, the point that you made is so perfect. When you look through his history in Broward County, Florida, with the failed businesses, it's almost like every skill set that he had in Broward County that was connected to fraud, he's able to use that skill set now today in his current business model. The Broward County, Florida said that he was running some sort of fraudulent vacation or travel business. Well, now he still has some kind of vacation / travel business, taking people on trips to Egypt. He has an issue with spinning a narrative of who he is, different identities, different changes his name legally back and forth, having different IDs, getting credit cards in other people's names. Now he has monetized the ability to tell these fantastic stories about these ancient tablets and just weaving this narrative and selling it to people the same way that he was trying to spin that story to the police officer, the same way that he was trying to spin a story to the bank teller at Chase Bank. Now he found an area talking about ancient aliens where, I mean, who's really fact-checking the ancient alien story? But his biggest problem, the thing that really sealed his fate, is when he started to try to get on larger platforms. When he went to the larger platforms, his issue is he got a bigger spotlight. And whenever you shed light on a person who has a dirty past, more people can see it. See, he was fine as long as he stayed in that niche audience of people who already believed in the narrative that he was telling. People who are interested in aliens and ancient texts, that's great. But when he got on the bigger podcast with eyeballs of people who don't fall in that group,
La PBD.
now they're actually being critical. It's like, hold on, what is this guy talking about? That sealed his fate. That made people want to know what's going on. That made a real scholar like Wesley Huff actually interested in debunking his information. Then by a blessing from God, actually had the opportunity to debunk his information face to face or video to video, right?
Right.
And then now that the YouTube and all over people are researching him, that comes back to my research that I did over a year ago, and all of this comes out of his ego of wanting more and trying to get a bigger following so he can manipulate them. Now, that's why he's at where he is.
If you guys want more information in its vivid clarity, is on this man's channel.
Goodness me, I think I'm going to look more into this, but that was... I don't even want to add or say anything much, to be honest with you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you still a Billy Carson, whatever his name is, fan? Or have you finally woken up and, yeah, you're realizing this man's a false prophet? All right, Life React, thank you so much.